Hey makers, it's Laura from OpenWorks. I'm the education director over on Greenmount. We've been doing this series of making in place for folks so they can be inspired and make things at home. Tonight we put something special together for y'all to make a shadow box theater and some shadow puppets for you to write a story with and play with. So today what you're going to need is a cardboard box, some wax paper or parchment paper, whatever you have at home. That's a little translucent. Tape, scissors, a box cutter of sorts, and glue. Now for the puppet making, you're going to need little sticks of some sort. You can also use pipe cleaners if that makes sense. You can also use a pencil, maybe popsicle sticks, kind of whatever you had that can hold up straight. Again, you're going to need some more tape, some more glue, a little pen or something with a sharper tip, some sort of paper. Now I'm using a thick black cardstock, but you can use whatever you have in your house. But I would recommend that it be a little thicker so that when you hold it up right, it doesn't flop over. So cardstock or a note card or even some cardboard. And so today I'm going to show you how to do two things. I'm going to show you how to make the box itself that becomes your theater, and then I'm going to show you how to make shadow puppets. One that stays still and one version that moves. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you're doing well and have a wonderful time making in place. So to make a simple shadow puppet, you need a piece of dark cardstock or any thick paper you have, even cardboard works. Got a lot of cardboard around. Really anything that's going to cast a shadow works really well. And I'm going to use my yellow crayon to create my drawing of my shadow puppet. Now my story has birds in it, so I'm going to draw a bird. And you're really concerned with the outside of whatever you're drawing right now. So if you mess up or make lines, just kind of don't worry about it because you're going to cut it out in the end. So let's see, my bird has a head. My bird has a beak. So I just drew a circle for the head and a little triangle for the beak. Let's see. I'm going to draw an oval. Big old egg oval for the body. And then I'm going to draw a triangle for the tail. And I'm going to draw another triangle, but long and thin, for this wing. And a triangle for this wing. So see, you can just use the shapes to make different animals or different things. So to me, this looks pretty much like a bird I want. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna color it in because these are all spots that I want to be in the silhouette. Oopsies. So now that we have our bird, again, I drew circle, triangle, oval, triangle, and two more triangles and connected it. I'm going to take my scissors, and because I'm right-handed, counterclockwise or cut against time. If I were left-handed, I would cut with time or clockwise. And I like to keep the scissors so that the blades are pointed away from me, and I'll move the paper. So, see, and then rotate, and I'm cutting, snipping along the outside of the drawing. Now, if you want to double check and not be distracted by your drawing, you can flip it over and you can see if it looks like a bird. Tweet, tweet, tweet. So I'm going to put a little glue, just a little glue stick on its belly, like that. And I'm going to put the wooden skewer, but you can use a popsicle stick or anything that you have, down here. And the glue is really going to hold it in place. But for a stabilizer, I'm going to use some masking tape just to make sure it's secure. So the glue glues to the tape and the body of the puppet. Can you hear my dog barking? Okay. So that should be good. And to double check that it's working the way you want, you flip it over and then woo! Another version of the shadow puppet has a moving component or a kinetic component. And this is where you make a shadow puppet just like you did before, creating the silhouette or the outline and cutting it out and using that as your puppet. But now we're going to add part of the puppet that can move. And so we only need an extra skewer or whatever you're using as your stick and some sort of paper clip or fastener that can allow the pieces to connect but still move. Since we're using a brown piece of paper, I'm going to use a dark crayon or a black crayon to make the shape. And so I'm going to make another bird because there's another bird in the story. And this one's a little bigger. So I'm going to make a circle for the head, a triangle for the beak, an oval for the body, and a triangle for the tail. Do 2 more triangles for the body. And so I'm going to make them a little longer right now because these are the parts, and one of them is going to be the moving part. I'm going to color in what's going to be the one piece so I know where to cut. But I'm going to leave this wing empty because it's going to be its own piece. So this is my bird, and I've cut out the entire thing, but now I'm going to cut off the wing because this is going to be my movable part. So I'm going to cut it off against the body, and now I have 2 pieces, this piece and this piece. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I did before, flip it over, make sure it looks like a bird enough. I think it does. And this is the piece that's going to be movable. I want it to go on or move from. And I'm going to draw a little outline just so we know where it matches up. See? And I'm going to use my pen to create a small hole. Little hole there, little hole here, and then I'm going to put them over top, and I'm going to use the fastener. See, these fasteners have kind of 2 clips here, and you can get these at grocery stores or pharmacies, old school office supplies. Going to put the 2 ends together, stick them through both holes, and then kind of rotate it around to open the hole a little bit. Flip it over, and then put it down, and then it can rotate. 1 on the body and 1 on the wing. That one. That one. viewers where I'm gonna fold the glue over the skewer a little bit, putting the tape as a stabilizer, but we're not gonna remove it. It's gonna become part of the puppet. Okay, this is the part where you can move the wing with this. But we're gonna let this dry, and I'll show you what everything looks like in just a bit. We've made a boot, a bird, a couple of bottles, and a bigger bird with a moving wing. I'm going to take about half a crayon and measure a little line from the corners in to make my measurement. You have cardstock. I'm going to trace a line from each edge. Those lines there. Now at this point, you are a tinier human, or if you're one that it would be safer to have an adult do this part, you want to grab your box cutter and you want to stick it in and cut along the lines you made, because you want to cut this panel out. And I'm being very careful not to cut myself or anyone else. Now every time you're done with the knife, you gotta put it away and put it away up high from hands that could hurt themselves or others with it. Now just kind of push it. Woo! So now we've got our theater. So we can pull these in and either take them off or glue them. So right now, I'm going to remove this down, put it back over, and do just an eye assessment with how big the wax paper should be. I might take a pen and do a little mark, and then I'm going to cut my wax paper where I created that tick mark. And I'm not worried about being perfect right now or straight. Some glue here. And then put it down. Glue, glue. You can also put some tape down. So the glue is your adhesive, so it's what sticks it together. And your tape really helps stabilize it, or helps it stay in place while it dries. Space out, starting at the bottom. I'll take the tape and I'm going to stick it down. You see that? Screen. We have our theater. When you're doing your puppet show, you want to sit or stand behind your theater, so the open part of the box. So right next to you will be a light source. I have a lamp here that's just sitting on the table inside the back of the box. And I can move my body so that I can reach inside and show the puppet right near the screen. No, it's further away, looks like that. And if it's closer, it looks like that. And if I touch it, it looks like that. And that was the movable bird. This is one of the bottles. Another bottle. And you can use different things that you find in nature too. This is a dried up flower. And this is a funny little pine cone. can also use your hands. You can rattle the paper. All sorts of things. Thank you so much for making in place with us today. Take care, and makers unite.